All right, hi all. Got 6:30, so we'll call it to order. Um, 5-year capital plan. We've invited everyone to come and let's see who we got here. Um, let's start with land use. Ties on. Um, you put in 45,000 for the POCD, correct, Ty?
Yep, this is the same as it's been for the last couple of years. Nothing new has been requested.
Great. Any questions for Ty?
I have none.
No, I don't have any questions.
Great.
Pretty straightforward.
Awesome. Thanks, Ty.
All right, thank you.
Um, did I see Jen Dubray?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's logged in.
Want to talk revaluation?
Yep. Hi.
Hi.
Um, yep, it's pretty much basic. I have plenty of money in there to do it, and I had just in my email suggested you might want to push that 40,000 over. Because if I'm right, you would start taxing it this year,
Hmm.
a certain amount, but if you wanted to push it back over the line for another year, you could do so. I mean, the next reval would be 2033. So I project to have plenty in there for the 2028 reval.
Okay. So we could push the 40 if we need to. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for letting us know. It's easy to forget when the next reval is. For
Yeah,
us, not for
2028.
you.
Yeah. So I would start having bills come in for 2028 in the 2027 fiscal year, but then then the next one would be 2033. So 2032.
Yeah. Thank you, Jen. It's nice to know we can do that if we need to.
Okay, good.
I have nothing
Okay.
for Jen.
Thanks, Lynn. Okay. Thanks, Jen. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Matt Bussey's on. Tim Limbosa's on.
Let's do Tim because I know Matt's got a presentation. So,
Okay.
Tim, you're here for emergency management?
Yep. So
Great.
I went and printed out finally again. My apologies for not getting this to you guys before sooner. So I reevaluated and looked at what had been proposed in the capital request narrative and everything that was done by my predecessor. And this again, my opinion. The only real things that I think we should be kept in there are the community house generator and showers and the EM sheltering equipment, the communication system equipment. I know that the radio at the firehouse or at the town hall works on the VHF side, and it works, to both towers. I would propose, but probably in my regular budget, operating budget, because it's under about $4,000, a base station radio to utilize at town hall as well too on the 800 megahertz. So that's where I don't see that EM communication systems need that was said before. The vehicle, I already gave my opinion on that at you guys' board of selectmen's meeting. The utility terrain vehicle and trailer. I've been thinking about that a little bit, and I know that the fire department has been discussing, and I think there's a committee currently for replacing or the department getting a new ATV or UTV for themselves. So I believe that that current one would revert back to emergency management because that's who originally got it. I don't know if the trailer was purchased by the department or if the trailer was purchased by emergency management. So there might need to be a trailer purchase to store that. But if the fire department's already going to get it, I don't see why emergency management should not just utilize the one that's currently there and just retake possession of it. As far again as the community house, changing the narrative though, he put the best solution would be a mobile generator. I disagree with that just because of the size of it. Something that's comparable at the current town hall. I spoke with John Gleason would be about the correct size to utilize over at the community house. That was about 55 or $60,000 is what he told me. So it probably would be about the same price.
What's the KW on that, Tim?
I honestly don't know. I know the one that's at the
At the town hall?
runs the entire town hall. Like, and it's an actual true emergency generator. So when the power goes out, it has under 10 seconds to fire up, and it does under 10 seconds fire up.
Yeah.
And by power, I want to say it's 100, but I don't know if that's true or not. So again, I'm sure we could find the documentation on that. You know, Rick could probably have that because he was the one that kind of helped with that project, or we can reach back out to John Gleason about that. Which one is
Okay.
that? Was done. But again, that's designed to run the entire, run the entire town hall with no issues. I've seen it do it with no issues at all. And again, it's truly an emergency one, which helps with the lighting and a lot of different qualifications and classifications for it.
Do you think we need one that big over there? I mean, the town hall, there's a lot more usage.
Again, but the thing would be, Lynn, right. So if we truly were to use that as a shelter, right? So at that point, then you have showers going, then you're going to have the kitchen going full swing. That also is the food bank storage. So you have fridges and freezers running down there as well too. So yes, there's more stuff at town hall, but I would rather us see get something that's a little oversized for maybe future expansions, or if there's a lot of people that are there. If we have to, put up cots in the lower and also upstairs, there might be a lot of people there utilizing it. So, yeah, and again, this is just preliminary planning, but the idea was to use something that's similar size that's what's currently at town hall, which was I think was between $55,000 and $60,000, and the rest of the money would be used to redo the bathrooms, put showers back in there, probably do some ADA compliance. It's going to have to be done as well too to bring it up to code when we're doing this work. Probably some electrical doors, opening doors downstairs in the basement area so that people could get in to utilize that space down there. The community house as itself has an excellent storage area for the equipment to be stored as well too. And downstairs, one of the closets is completely not being utilized at all. When I was there with Sam about a month ago, when she was doing a food thing, and we were just reviewing some other stuff that was there for me as the fire marshal. And then again, so the next thing would be the sheltering equipment. I know that Heidi and Peter went through all the equipment. I don't know if anything got thrown out. I know a lot of it got moved upstairs to the attic space at town hall. But the narrative that he has here, it's some of them are starting to fail and showing their age. I know that stuff was given by Demas many, 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 many years ago, so it would make sense to replace it. Whether it's a one-time full replacement or if we should spread it out, over a couple of years, the 25,000, maybe 2 years worth of that to replace half one year, half the next year, to kind of space it out. But again, I don't know enough about the status of what was actually thrown out or what has to be replaced. So I'm just going back off of what the my predecessor had.
You had that equipment for a long time. Do you know how many times it was used?
I honestly do not know. I know it's been used a couple times. I think the big thing was the October storm. I think that was utilized at the firehouse, and I don't know if they actually had cots at town hall as well too. But
Were they used? I mean, you set them up, but did they actually get used? Did you have people there?
again, I don't know. This is well before my time, so I have no idea if it was
Okay,
actually.
that's fair.
I do know at the firehouse stuff was. I know that at the firehouse stuff was utilized back during the October storm, and people did. First responders stayed there and stuff like that, so they had an area to be.
Okay.
But it was not an unheard of thing to use. So
Would the fire department have used some of that cots and stuff?
I think that they did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
okay.
the fire department used some of those cots because that was the only cache of cots to use. So I think that they utilized them there. And again, I don't remember if town hall actually opened up for people to go to. I honestly don't remember that, but I remember it at the firehouse. I remember spending a night there, on a cot in the old, or what's now the gym, but like we set up cots and stuff like that in that space to.
Yeah, I don't think the town hall was used because I'm not sure that
I don't
there
think we'd
was
have.
a generator at that point that could do the whole town hall. I know that the senior center, they were serving food at the senior center.
Yep.
I can remember that.
Well, that's the other thing with the community house is like there is a full commercial kitchen downstairs. I think it might need to be revamped a little bit, but not much. So like that could truly be utilized where you could serve meals and do everything. Looking at the different places in town in this town-owned building, I think that the community house really is a star example of where we could have a shelter.
And I know this is probably a crazy question, but are there any grants that are available from the feds, or is that all dried up?
I have no idea, Lynn. I haven't even looked at
Okay,
I'm
okay.
new into the role. I'm still trying to finish up the LEOP and like so I'll look at
Yeah.
the CERT just got there was a grant available for CERT equipment as well too, up to $2,000
Oh,
on as well too, just to see what equipment we can get for CERT. It's specifically for CERT though. It's not for anything else. But again, if we can get some tents or something like that, some other equipment for them to utilize during these emergencies, that could be utilized. That's what we're kind of looking at right now.
So the sheltering equipment's already been, that was last year, so that's already been moved over.
Oh, okay. Because it was still on here for 25. That's why I so you're saying it's already been moved over to the fiscal year 29?
No, no, it's already been come over the
And-
5-year line, so it's already been taxed for 1 year.
Okay.
yeah, that was the only thing that the last board actually approved,
Okay.
was the sheltering.
So that was for the 25,000?
Yeah,
Yes.
All right, so we can take that out. So really the only thing to ask to put in the capital this year would be the community house generator and showers.
okay, so everything else you're saying can hold, go back to
Again.
2032.
Yeah.
Well,
Again, go ahead. Good. Eric, sorry, go ahead.
I think we need to stop just pushing stuff over the line. If you don't think you need it, then we take it out completely.
Yeah. Well, again, a vehicle I think is something that could be utilized, but not for the $110,000. The one that we got for me as the fire marshal, for 10 grand is going to last us at least 5 to 10 years. So that's where I just don't see, that number for an expense. So that's just again my opinion. I would welcome any of your guys' opinions on that as well too.
I mean, the nice thing is, Eric, if you push it over the line, you don't forget about it and it's still there and you can debate it the next year, but we don't have to tax for it. And especially in the situation that Tim's in right now, where he hasn't been in the department that long, it gives the department more time to reassess.
Sounds good. Any other questions for Tim?
I would be in favor of removing the vehicle if they want to put it in 5 years or whatever, when he thinks he needs another one, that's fair. The UTV and trailer, he explained why we don't need that, so I don't think that needs to be moved over.
But
Yeah.
Lynn, he said that the fire department is looking into it. The fire department hasn't bought a new one yet.
So there is
So
all right, real quick. So there is a committee that's formed right now. They have like something picked out. Eric, you can attest to this well too. They have something picked out. They're just trying to find the funding. So they have a open trailer and a UTV picked out for $28,000.
you're cutting out a little bit there.
Can you repeat that? How much?
So I spoke to PJ Havland, who is the chair of that committee, and they're at $28,000 for a new UTV and an open trailer. And they're just trying to figure out the funding.
Okay. Okay, that's a little different. I kind of would agree with you, Lynn.
What did you say about the communication system, Tim? I think I kind of missed that part.
So communication system. So I did testing, and actually the 16th is the next radio test on the VHF system in a 100 system for Demas. So at Town Hall, there is a base station radio that's located in the corner of the office for Joyce and Rickar that has the VHF channel to go back to Demas if we need to. It's not in the emergency management room, but it's available right there if we need. The primary communications means is the 800 radios that the state issues. The emergency management has purchased 2 additional tri-band radios that was budgeted for last year. We're just waiting for those to be delivered. So we'll have 3 radios with the capabilities of talking on this to the state in that office. The only thing that I foresee wanting to get would just be like a base station radio. That way, if the people are out using the radios on the field, there's still somebody that can be back in the base and talking on the 800 radio. I got a quote for that of about $35 to $4,000 for that radio.
For a base station?
Yep.
Now, I had a lot of conversations with people and it sounded like we needed to have a connection between town hall and the tower. Does that need to happen?
Right now, the way that we currently are set up at town hall, we can talk to both the Southbury and Mohawk Tower from the radio that's in the selectman's office. It's between it's right against.
Mhm.
I think that the discussion about that equipment that was back there beforehand was it was to accomplish the same thing. Again, I don't know the exact particulars, but I do know when I tested it with Demas that I could hit the Southbury Tower and the Mohawk Tower from Town Hall. Mohawk Tower being the primary with really good clarity. Southbury was a little bit more scratchy on the receiving end, but they could hear me fine.
Okay.
So I know that there was talk about, getting equipment back over to the, the spot that the emergency management had on the tower, but I don't foresee the need to spend the money on it right now, especially since everything's working at town hall and there is a greater push to use the 800 system that the state has.
Right. Okay. And so are you saying that you don't need the 50,000 at all?
Correct. Because again,
Okay.
they spent, I think you guys budgeted $10,000 last year for the portable radios, and it was actually $10,400 for the 2 radios. Those were already purchased. They're sitting, just waiting to be approved by the state programming. That takes sometimes months. So those are already ordered and ready to go. Like I said, the only thing would be the base station at probably $4,000, but that's not enough to hit the capital expenditures. So that's why it's not falling over here.
Okay. So you would put that in the operating budget.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, anything else for Tim?
Can we just review because we went back and forth? Are we taking out the 50,000, the 110 and the like
58.
58,000 and just take them out?
I would like to hear from everybody and then we can deliberate, if that's all right.
Oh, okay. All right. I just want to kind of make sure I understood what we were doing.
But yes, that's what my notes say. Take the 50 out,
Okay.
take the UTV and trailer out, and the generator and shower stays.
Okay.
We
Sounds
good?
Yeah. Thank you, Tim,
Okay,
for being
thanks,
here.
Tim.
No problem, guys. Do you have any questions? Let me know.
Who's next? Matt, you're up.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Matt.
All right, so for Park and Rec, what we're looking for fiscal year 31, I'm just going to start with the things that were presented first round to Barbara, and then I'll jump into the other 2 after. So Emery Park, we're looking for showers, bathroom, and septic installation for 200,000. We recognize that Emery Park is in need of a more structurally sound waste system and also an area for people to rinse off after they go swimming. So we were looking into either installing something from Green Flush, which is a tank system that we can have water either connected directly to the Aquarian water line that cuts through the park, or we can have water pumped in and then everything is stored in a tank and pumped out by United, which does all of our stuff right now for our portalets. And then also the tennis court, we're looking at $80,000 as a request. Pickleball has really picked up, and we have some folks that have interest in donating to build the courts. So what we're looking to do is have a base fund of 80,000 and then raise up to the cost of what the court would be. We're still pricing out what that court would be based on what's needed in the area. So we need a rebar reinforced cement with the acrylic on top. So it's a variation in pricing. So myself and another commissioner, Keith Johnson, are diving a little bit deeper, but we feel that 80,000 is a great base, comfortable number to start with. And then what we're looking into too, from the Emery Park Subcommittee to the Commission, there was a interest in moving the $100,000 from the Emery Park Playground project that already exists and is funded and is in the bank right now. And we're looking at moving that money into the Emery Park Swimming Area project and pumping in $100,000 in 2031. And then also looking at putting in $80,000 in the swimming area project for the patio space. And the 100,000 that we're looking for is for the playground to rebuild the playground and add more to it.
So
All right.
it, I was a little confused. There were two different files in the folder that, are there, does one of them have this additional information in it? I kept looking through it and I couldn't understand what I was looking at.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up the file itself, but I submitted a document prior to the deadline, and then the Emery Park Subcommittee met on October 15th, which is the deadline Barbara set for me. And when they met, they wanted to add to the capital fund. And then the Park and Rec Commission met in November and voted in favor of that. So I believe that is the documentation that Barbara provided.
She said to us last week she wasn't going to put the new stuff in there. I
Oh,
don't, Eric, is it in there?
I don't see it in there actually. I apologize. That was based off the document that I had. So I don't see Barbara's or the addition from what the commission
Oh,
submitted.
okay.
But nope, the Emery Park
So,
showers, bathroom and septic, and the Kent Commons Park courts are the two things.
okay, so go slowly, go through the other two things that they wanted to add in, because I,
Sure. So the commission and Emery Park Subcommittee wanted to add in $100,000 to the playground. What they're looking to do is have a town meeting to move the money that's to reassign funds to a current project that is fully funded. The Armory Park Playground has $100,000 available right now in the bank, and the subcommittee and commission wanted to move that money to the Emery Park Swimming Area project, and then reopen the Emery Park Playground project and seek out $100,000 in 2031.
what's the thinking about doing it that way?
So the thought process with that, adding the extra 100,000 to the Emery Park Swimming Area project, we're going from 500 to $600,000, so it gives us a little more of a cushion. However, I can understand Barbara's hesitation since there is some interest from the public to donate to the Emery Park Swimming Area project.
Okay.
So Matt, looking farther out in the playground in 2033, 2034, you've got 20,000 and 25,000. Is that 100,000 going in 2031 in lieu of those two? Or will you need that all?
So, so those two are placeholders for any repairs that would have been needed. So those two would be later out in 2033 and 2034 would be pushed back.
Okay.
We try to fix any sort of playground items every 5 years. The lifespan of a playground ranges from 10 to 14 years. So we look at 5 to 7 years as the half-life of a playground. So major repairs such as slides, swing sets, climbing equipment, that would be in the 20-25,000. But if we build a new playground in 2031, we'd be looking at 2036 to 2038 for that money to be coming into, or asking for that money to come in to fix any equipment that we have.
Okay. Any other questions for Matt?
What was the second thing you mentioned about patio space?
Yep. So the $80,000 the commission and subcommittee recommended to add in, that would be for the patio space around the Emery Park swimming area that we have at the moment. It would be to revitalize that space and also add in a slide for swimming.
And when are you looking to add that?
That was 2031.
31 also. So it's basically 180,000 additional.
Yep. However, if it is felt by the select board that it's not necessary at this time to add that money in, we can definitely look towards fundraising for that.
A lot to add in 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay. Lynn Harrington, any questions?
Yes, but not at this moment. I need to
Okay.
do some more review.
But Matt, I really wanted to compliment you on the way you laid out your narrative. It's very understandable the way you have the numbers right next to the amount and then the explanation. I
Thank
really
you.
liked it.
Thank you. I know that historical information is so important when it comes to capital budgets. And I know that it definitely needs to be passed along in some way, shape, or form. So it's not only just for everyone here, but it's for me, it's for those that step into my role after me to see what happened and what the money was for instead of playing guess what it's for and trying to read through papers of things that are not necessarily clear. So I wanted to be as clear and concise as possible.
I do have a question before you go. Can you remind me why you decided to put the pickleball courts over on the south side of the tennis courts as opposed to on the east side of the driveway?
So we wanted to make it contiguous so that people can just walk into the court and have it directly attached to the court so we don't have to add on extra fencing. So it would just be three sides of fencing that would be new instead of four. And then also people can just walk right through the court to pickleball, or if we in the future want to take down that fencing, and let's say we want to expand that court to make it a multi-use court for basketball, pickleball, handball, anything that becomes a popular sport. I'm noticing there's a new version of racquetball that's picking up, so that there's a lot of things that are on trend right now that require courts. So just trying to build it all together and also looking into potentially bubbling the court in the future, having a bubble or a dome over the court to make it an all-season court. It would be contiguous, and we can then look into the price of one big unit instead of two separate units.
Okay. That's it for now.
Thank you.
Lynn Worthington, you good?
I'm good. I appreciate
Okay.
all the work you put
Thanks,
into
Matt.
this.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Mhm.
much. Okay. Rick, you up? Great.
Yes.
Thank Awesome. Okay. Equipment is trucks, right?
Trucks, tractors, loaders, everything.
Roads are roads.
Or
Buildings and improvements.
that's cover on the salt shed.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's would be the we haven't changed the cover on it yet, so it'll be the original replacement.
Lynn, questions?
I have a question. I was trying to understand the bridges, which always seems to be my annual challenge. And I went back and tried to look up one of the numbers. You have it listed as 0551, and I couldn't find that in your list.
Believe it's the one in Macedonia, but I'm checking the
Okay.
05519.
Yeah, maybe it gets cut off because in the detail under Public Works, it just shows up as 0551.
It must have got cut off then because 05519 is the concrete bridge.
Okay,
Going in Macedonia Brook Road.
okay, thank you. The
I
only
think
question I had was over equipment, but go ahead, Lynn. You can go.
you can
ahead of me.
finish. Go finish.
Oh, I just wanted to understand um what you're proposing with the backhoe and the tractor and boom mower. I read through what you submitted, but I just want to make sure I understand
Yeah, I don't
what the
know if you've seen
proposal
any of
is.
the wheeled excavators that have been out working along the state roads this summer.
I don't think I'd
They
know
have
what
a,
it was if I saw it, so
okay.
sorry.
Well, instead of having the two pieces of equipment, which one piece is going to be sitting while the other one's working usually, to have just one by one piece that can do both jobs. And then that cuts down on what we have to maintain. And plus it's with that type of machine and for the roadside mowing, it would be easier because you can face what you're actually mowing, where the tractors, you're sitting sideways, you're mowing off to the side, so you're constantly looking forward and away. I mean, you gotta look forward too with the other one, but at least
Right.
you're looking straight at where the mowing head is instead of off to over your shoulder. And there are a lot more attachments that can go on that same head besides those, either a bucket or just a mower that we could utilize.
Okay.
And currently, the combination of those two will get a good machine right now. It may go up in a few years, but like everything else. But
Would you be looking to pre-fund that so you could use it right away or?
once I believe the backhoe is in the plan coming in 2 years, I think it was, or once that comes in, then the other one will be crossing the line. So at that time, we could ask to pre-fund it maybe.
Okay.
Right now, the tractor with the boom mower is in 2029, and the backhoe was in 2033. So by the time the boom mower comes out in 29 would be 3 years, right? By the time that comes in to be funded, then the other one will be over the line already. So
Mm-hmm. Okay. Go ahead, Lynn H.
You're muted, Lynn. You're muted.
I keep going on and off because there's so much background noise here. Um, the numbers go up and down. We have 300, 650, 900, 850, nothing, 500, 100, just going across the bridges. Is there a way to kind of, I think you call it flat funding, where you put in a certain amount every year so they can know what they have, know what's coming, be able to plan better, maybe be able to make better deals because they know that the money's coming. I don't know if that works in, but just some thoughts.
what I tried to do across there was looking more at the bottom line each year,
Hmm.
put the higher amounts for the bridges in years where the equipment was, or less equipment or lower price stuff. Got a little carried away in 2030 by the looks of it, but that also affects as we're going through it every year, things keep getting pushed back across the black line. So I would like to discuss flat funding at some point with the selectmen and the Board of Finance. To,
After budget season.
yeah, good, after season.
Okay. I think that's something that the selectmen should look at with the help of DPW and whoever else normally puts things in, maybe the school or town buildings. I think with flat funding, you also the taxpayers have a better idea of what things will be, the same amount.
I mean, after we get through that 500 and is it 2032? We'll have rebuilt all the bridges we currently have in town,
Nice.
except for like the covered bridge, but so, and then there'll be maintenance on them for the next 70, 80 years. Then you'll have to rebuild again,
Wow.
and hopefully the numbers will come down by then, right? And you're planning on a bridge lasting around 80 years.
That's all I have as far as that goes.
Okay.
Lynn Worthington, you good?
Well, the only question I had, and I know it's not in the 5-year plan, but the discussion of the transfer station. I wondered, is it possible to do any grants for that? Because
We're
that's a
getting-
big nugget.
That is in the 5 year, isn't it? It's in 2031
Oh, I thought
under town buildings.
oh, sorry, I misunderstood. I was going off the narrative and didn't double check. So, yeah, um, are there opportunities for grants? Because that's a
Well, we'd
lot of
have to
money.
keep looking. Everything in here is possibly available for grants, but you don't know until you go to do it, whether you have a grant or not. So, and
And
if we,
go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, whenever we talked with Board of Finance about any of this funding, it's always been either tax base or grant funding. If you get the grant, then whatever grant money comes out and the rest of that money stays in the capital and goes back in the fund. So, and I know there's some stuff that quite a few things that we do that there's capital money, but I'm also using operating money because there's not enough capital money.
Mhm.
And there has been in the capital guidelines, it's one part there says to overinflate your numbers. And if I wanted, started putting stuff in and inflating it by a couple $100,000, I know that whether it's the selectmen or the Board of Finance is not going to agree with doubling these bottom lines because everything's just inflated in case inflation keeps going up. So as we get to we try and add as we're going through the 5 years, but I don't think the Board of Finance really likes that either because the closer you get to the year when it's coming in, it's sometimes a full tax number in that one year. It's not divided by 4 or 5 anymore. So I don't I don't think I have any numbers in there that have inflated, but maybe the ones that are 8, 9 years out. I started just taking wild guesses now, but
I know, it's really hard. And then you've been good about adjusting when you realize that the numbers are too low for the current conditions. Could you give us a little bit more, if we decide to go forward with this transfer station in 31, can you give us a little bit more details about how much things would cost? And because it's still a little too vague, like how much does it cost to connect to the sewer system? How much does it cost for just even if it's just estimates, because it's really vague.
I could get estimates from people, but remembering that it's 5 years out, I'm sure it's going to change.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure up there if we'd have to do any blasting for the depending on the depth of the sewer and stuff right there.
The sewer goes up to the Kent though.
Yeah, there's a
Feet deep.
manhole outside the gate there, but I don't know how deep it is. And if we did have something down the like where the office is now, whether we put a force main in, so is the pump system up to that, or if it had to be gravity, then you're gonna have to, get down as low as whatever that manhole is where the pipe is. So more than likely it would be a force system. So that's gonna require the, well, first of all, we're gonna need another add on to the building or do something like that, because that's just a slab on grade. There's no footings or anything under that. So if we'd have to have something to protect the water. So we'd have to, dig out and put at least one section of the building, probably would, or at least footings or something, so we had somewhere to come up in it without being exposed to the weather. Then have a area, we'd have to put a tank and a pump chamber in. And whatever the excavation would be out to the manhole. The water mains across the road there where it goes up to the Kent. So we'd have to do all the way up through the parking lot and the road crossing to get to the main. And I think we were adding money in that for the building and some other stuff like that. I have to review that estimate that we came up with there, but. And we've gotten 2 grants recently to do work there, so try and get more of the work that we may have been planning for that done in those grants. Like the retaining walls and stuff, if we can get those all fixed up with the grants, and we'll only have to work on the building or the plumbing.
Hmm.
We could probably reduce that, but I mean, for now, it's hard to say 5 years from now if that's going to be enough or not. But
Thank you. I have a better understanding now.
We're good?
I
Yeah, I'm
am.
good.
All right, thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Joyce, you want to do town buildings?
Sure.
Thanks.
All right. So to start with, I'm going to backtrack a little bit to 2030. I increased the community house exterior painting from 80,000 to 150. I talked to a contractor. A lot of that wood needs to be replaced. It can't be repainted. The paint isn't sticking to it anymore. So the best option is to reside it. There's a lot of rotting wood there. So I increased it so that based upon a recommendation to remove the siding and replace it with a pre-painted composite material, which will add long-term durability and reduce the maintenance in the future for that. The community house lower level flooring, I originally, before it hit the line, I had 50,000 in there to do just the flooring. Again, in speaking to a contractor, there's additional things that need to be done besides the flooring, like upgrading the lighting, sheetrocking and closing in the soffits, painting, restroom renovations, and a little bit of kitchen renovations. Unfortunately, I wasn't included in the discussion with making making the community house the emergency shelter. I was unaware that they were asking for that kind of money for that. So I'm not sure what your feeling is on doing that. And including my renovations, we didn't talk about doing those in conjunction with each other. Then there's the Swift House for 375. I don't need to explain that one. That's up to you guys. The 100,000 for town hall. I am kind of implementing the flat funding that Rick was talking about. It's for things like painting, doing the flooring, wiring, updating furniture. All of those kind of things are not small expenses, but they're little bits of the upgrade to town hall. And it's hard to know because we have to do things in sections. So for me to price out and say how much each year is going to be, it's just much easier to do the flat funding. And you guys approved 100,000 last year for that. So I'm kind of sticking with that same theory. And it'll probably be 5 years in total that will happen in order to get all of that up to speed where it needs to be, keeping in mind that the interior of the building hasn't been touched since it was built primarily. And then the transfer station, you've already talked about that.
Okay, questions?
My questions would be, with the community house, would this change your opinion to maybe do more repair versus waiting until the painting is so bad that you have to replace everything? Because I
Yeah.
know we had those discussions and you didn't want to really do the repairs.
I mean, I watched the areas that are the worst, but yeah, I would prefer to replace it rather than try to repair it. We're just kind of throwing money away by repairing it. Obviously, we want to keep the building looking nice as we can, but ultimately it's going to need to be replaced.
I know, but moving forward, would you change would your attitude change once you replaced it? Would you then be more open to repairing sections?
Oh yeah, once it's fully replaced, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't replace it every time. If we use a composite material, the longevity would be expanded from the wood that's there. So the repairs, we wouldn't need repairs probably for 5 years to begin with, probably further out.
What is the lifespan of that composite? Is it 5 years or is it more than that?
It depends on which exact product you use, but I would say a minimum of 5 years because it comes pre-painted, and so it's a little bit more durable with the holding the paint.
And when was the last time the community house was painted? Just out of curiosity.
Bruce had it painted when he was in office, and unfortunately, it was the people who were painting the church, and he kind of piggybacked on them, so we were kind of a fill-in job. So I wouldn't say that all of the repairs were done 100%. And so while it was painted, I wouldn't say it was a A+ job that was done.
Was it 10 years ago or?
Yeah, it had to be at least 10 years ago.
Okay.
I don't have that exact date, I'm sorry, but it had to be.
Okay.
I don't have questions for Joyce, but I'll have questions afterward when we discuss it together.
Great.
I do think that it's important for you and Tim to have a conversation, and Eric, after this meeting, to talk about because talk about the community house life and use if we do decide to go forward with the idea of an emergency shelter there.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Thanks, Joyce. I don't see Board of Ed and I don't see Fire Department, so.
That's unfortunate, but I did look at the minutes of the Board of Ed, and I don't think this actually answers the entire question, but I at least wanted to read to you that on October 8th, they made this motion. Under the title was capital plan request was the subject. Heather Brand made a motion to request that the Board of Finance terminate the completed KCS roof project in the capital fund and transfer the residual funding totaling $645,255.39 to the KCS sidewalk paving project in the capital fund and recommends the same for approval to the electors and citizens at the next town meeting.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's not our job. That's the
No.
Board of Finance to do, but
And the sidewalk and paving, which is funded for 2 years, is 106 and change.
yeah, but we took money, the Board of Selectmen, I was not in favor, but the Board of Selectmen took money out of their budget, their capital lines for this sidewalk and paving, I think, or I can't remember exactly what happened, but maybe it was the roof thinking that it would be used for the paving.
Okay.
But we didn't put any money in, and the Board of Finance didn't put any money in, because they were waiting for that motion.
I'm sorry, Lynn, this is last year, correct?
Last year, the Board of Selectmen took money out of the Board of Ed capital plan lines, yes, for the roof.
Okay.
But that motion I just read you is from October 8th, 2025. So that's this
Right.
year.
And that's a roof project that's already been completed.
Yep. And they had a lot of money left over in the roof
Right.
project.
So that
Wait,
means that the 786 is not needed?
Well, I don't know because I don't know. I don't understand their capital plan.
Or how much they're wanting to move over to the sidewalk? Did it
Well,
say that?
that it says 645,000.
645, okay.
Yeah. But I don't know I don't know what that number is, the 786, 404, because it keeps going, the roofing.
Yeah,
So I don't know what the deal is there.
okay.
Rick, you got some insight?
I believe when you transferred the money, they thought they needed the money for the roof. And then what they received back from the state was more than what they thought they were getting back. So you probably could have gotten done without doing that transfer. Now they want to move everything back over to the sidewalks and paving where it came from before. So,
Right.
but I don't think you didn't transfer any 700,000 out of there. But I know that.
No.
I know the number was pretty high for the paving before, but I don't think it was that much.
Okay, I'll see if we can get some additional answers and
Yeah.
Clarification, yeah.
okay, where do you want to start? Anybody? I mean, I believe that the land use and revaluation should stand. Is that correct?
Well,
Anyone?
except for the fact that she said reval, she doesn't really need it for 2031.
Right, so my goal would be to get to the bottom line, and if we need that money, that we know we can move that over.
Do you
I
have
mean-
a goal with the bottom line?
Well, currently we're 1,526,104 off from last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big nut. I mean, if we look at the totals over the last couple of years, 27 is 1.2 million. 28 is 2.1 million. 29 goes up to 3 million. 30 is 2.3 million. So coming back down, and then this capital plan is 3.9.
Mm-hmm.
So if we take out the three things from emergency management and then move reevaluation over, that's 258.
The total's 258?
Yep.
Well, that helps.
What, 258 you said, Lynn?
Yep. That's without us taking anything away. That's with what the people said that they could do
Okay.
without
Yep.
or move.
So that goes to 1,268,104 total over last year's.
Where are my other notes of concern? I think that we should really take a look at flat funding for, I think town hall updates is a good idea for funding. There's always things that need to be done. And again, it gives them a better idea of, if they have if they have 100,000 one year and 100,000 the next year, and it's going to take 200,000 to do a project, you get the right timing, you got your money. I think Joyce is good with the money, and I think that we got to not keep putting off the repairs to our buildings to where it ends up like the community house. It's better to do a little bit each time, or smaller items, not even smaller items, just keeping it up to date so you have less repairs later.
It speaks to whether or not the capital plan should be used for repairs, or is that their operating budget? I mean, I know it depends on the building, but
Well, I think once you're over 25,000, we're going to give them you put it into capital.
mhm. I think that we've had an issue with deferred maintenance on several of the buildings where it just hasn't been put into the operating budget. So
And then
it's
you're
a
going to freak out
philosophy,
seeing an extra 100,000 in the operating budget.
I'm not saying that I mean I definitely believe in planning, but my point that I'm trying to make is that we have not done enough repairs in general. And then it comes back to haunt us.
Right.
For the Swift House, for the community house, for town hall. It's like it's a pattern. So we need to maybe think about it a little differently rather than always be thinking about it as a capital plan item. Maybe it needs to be done more systematically through the operating budget.
So if she adds, or if there is $100,000 added every year to the operating budget, or a project comes up and, as it is now, this is waiting for 4 years to redo the carpeting and stuff, which is way beyond its life already. So if she needs $100,000 to redo the carpets or some painting, you want that in the operating budget? Or are you
No,
talking
I'm
about
just
smaller
saying, I'm
items?
saying smaller jobs. Like if something like at one point they had pieces of they had a design that pieces of carpet could be pulled up and installed when there were stains that happened and stuff like that. I know they've moved away from that, but my point is that maybe we could, maybe we could fix the peeling, rotting wood rather than waiting to get it. And I brought this up in past years instead of waiting until it's totally a disaster in
Are you talking
multiple
about the community
places.
house for that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
can
just a
agree, but
different
it's already
philosophy.
done. I mean, it's already to that point, where it needs to be done. And again, and even that's, it's 5 years to redo the flooring downstairs.
Right. That's because that's the way we've set it up where we have a savings plan to do our
Right.
capital work.
DPW does, or transfer station doesn't get a bathroom for 5 years.
But it's possible they might get a grant. you know?
Mhm. That would be great and get it done sooner.
I mean, last year was the first time it ever came up that I remembered ever being discussed in a public way.
Hmm.
So, and I believe it opened in 2008, 2009. So it's not like a new problem.
Okay, so I am also in favor of flat funding of some sort. I think that we should do that, and I'm just not sure that trying to do that tonight is gonna work.
Yeah,
Um, I think for the sake of argument here, considering what we're going to be dealing with the Swift House, we should take the 375 out of the last year to try and get this number down. We can move it over if you want. There is 75 and 150 coming due in a year or two. But
You know, the 75 was for HVAC. I don't remember what the 150 was. I think the 150 was a piece of the overall cost in general. Joyce can correct me.
okay.
Originally, just to give you guys a little bit of history, originally the capital plan, the numbers actually corresponded to projects. And the idea was that, okay, that 75,000 for the Swift House, that meant XYZ, that meant HVAC. And the idea was to be transparent with the taxpayers to say, that's how much a specific project costs. The problem comes about when the projects get so expensive and they keep getting stretched over multiple years. And then it becomes gray and fuzzy as to what exactly those costs were originally dedicated for, which is part of the reason why I was asking for more narrative so you could understand what the numbers actually mean in the 5 years.
so this says 1/3 of a complete renovation, repairs, ADA compliance, renovate kitchen, flooring, upgrade electrical and windows. 4/14/23, BOS moved 125,000 out of fiscal year 28 to 229 per BOF request for reductions. On
Right.
11 or 12/11/23, BOS reduced by 175,000 and moved that to fiscal year 30.
So like I said, it was part of the overall cost being spread over multiple years. So now it's just left there as 150,000.
And that should actually be in the next year. So the 375 is in question.
Exactly.
What are you thinking?
Well, as I started to say, I said some in our last regular meeting last week. The Swift House, I think, holds holds an important part in our heart. It's a town building. We don't have a lot of real estate, so on that aspect, I'm a little reluctant to sell. But on the other hand, we haven't been able to come up with many concrete ideas on what to use it for, and is putting all this money into it worth it? I'm not sure of that yet. And that's why I want to talk to the tradesmen in town and get better ideas to see if the presentation that we were given by the other company is accurate, or do they feel it's way off or whatever, just to give some other concrete ideas and not be scared by 1.5 million or whatever that quote was. I don't exactly remember. So
So
we need
are you in favor of keeping that 375 in the 5 year, or to try and balance this a bit, are you okay moving it out until we have some better ideas what we're gonna do with that building?
I'm not sure. I'm torn.
I think we need to have money there to do repairs and stuff.
Again,
Um,
it's keep not fixing it. It just keeps getting worse and worse.
Right, right. So, I mean, I know it's a lot of money, but it's gonna take a big chunk of money to fix it. Even if we just did a lower version, like you're talking about, or not a lower version, but a different version that really focused in on the bathroom, the entranceway, and we didn't spend $1 million, we would have whatever that is, over $500,000 to be able to really do some changes that would bring it up to being able to be open.
I think at one point there was a suggestion of a town meeting to get the residents' opinion on what they want to do with the Swift House.
Yeah, I think but we have to strategize. We have to come up with we have to be able to propose stuff. You know, we can't just, have a town meeting and say, what do you want to do? We have to have information. I know Eric said he wants to be able to tour the building. We do. We need to tour it. We need to talk to different groups that have used it in the past. I know the task force did all this research.
A lot of it.
Yeah, so.
And they didn't really come up with any concrete full-time uses.
Not full-time, but there were multiple groups that wanted to use it on a part-time basis. So.
I have no problem keeping it and repairing it. I just want to make sure that it's going to be worth it for us to do that, and that it's going to be used, sufficiently, and basically we're going to get our money's worth.
Mhm.
So when do we have to pass this to the Board of Finance?
Well, they were hoping for it for the 17th. I told them we'd do our best, but I don't know that we'll get that done.
The Board of Selectmen has not done that in many years. This is a new thing the Board of Finance is asking for. Traditionally, the Board of Selectmen has accepted all the information and then presented it at the annual town meeting in January. And listened to what people thought about the proposals.
And then it goes to Board of Finance after that?
At some point, we have to accept it and
then send it,
and then send it to them.
recommend to them.
Yeah. And most of the time, Lynn, it comes back and the Board of Finance wants changes. So
Right.
it's not like it's a done deal.
Right.
It's kind of like the budget.
I think at this point, I'd like to leave it in there. Are we gonna wait for Board of Ed and the fire department? Do we have to have another meeting before then to get them here or do we just not get an explanation from them?
I mean,
Well, the fire department, hasn't the fire department they've given us stuff, right?
yes.
I mean, we know what the fire department wants. The fire department
Not a lot
wants,
this year.
it's starting the funding to replace engine 2.
Oh, it's not starting. It's
Well,
started last year.
am I
So-
looking at the wrong year? Sorry.
So why, again, same thing for why does it go 350, 100, 600, 350, 350?
Can you answer that, Eric?
I sure can, because the department voted to put an ambulance in there for 300,000 this year.
Okay.
And it was, the number was just going to be way too high for that year. So they reduced the engine 2 to 100 to make that line a little less.
Make it more palatable.
Correct.
Can the new
And then-
ambulance be split in half or anything?
How much does it cost for a new
My name
ambulance?
is on that document, so I'm not sure I should comment on that.
but how much does it cost for a new ambulance?
Currently, they're probably between 300 and 400.
Oh, so it
How
is
old is this?
possible?
Is the ambulance that you're replacing?
I'm sorry?
How old is the ambulance that you're replacing? They're hoping,
Is it 2013?
okay. So by then it's gonna be, it's already 12, so it's gonna be like 17 or 18 years old.
Yep. It's currently the backup, so there is a newer one that's front
That's
line.
ambulance two.
Correct.
Well, I understand why they're asking for the ambulance. This is the first time they've ever, the fire department has ever asked the town to fund ambulance. So the Aiken fund has obviously been depleted so much that they can't fund any more ambulances out of that. Is that correct, Eric?
That's correct.
Yeah. So I think it's very important that we support the need for a new ambulance.
Mhm.
They clearly have enough calls that they need to have two ambulances. So but in the document, am I looking at the wrong file? Okay. that's
Document for what?
last
The
year.
emails?
No, I'm looking at the document that's in, it's actually dated 2025, but I think it's in this year's narrative file. Did you guys like edit a document or something? Maybe it's in the wrong folder. Oh,
Well, this was written in October of 2025.
yeah. Okay. So it's got like editing on it.
I think that's Barbara.
Oh,
Oh, yes, and this was a clerical error in under the engine two.
okay.
Um,
So it says it should be 600,000, not 550,000?
correct. Yep.
Okay. So she's corrected that.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think we should stick with it. I mean, the fire department has actually tried to not ask for too much because they reduced the amount for the engine two, so.
I don't really have a problem with that. If somebody else has an emergency and I have one at the same time, I want a good truck to come and get me.
Want that backup ambulance?
I want a good one.
I would think I would recommend that we also reduce the generator and showers at the community house under emergency management by 40,000. So the generator's 80, and then we'll work with Joyce on the renovations of the community house, wherever that was, in town buildings. I mean,
Okay.
it does sound like redundancy.
I know that the town has gone back and forth as to what would be the best emergency management shelter, emergency shelter for the town. At one point it was going to be the community house. Another time it was going to be the town hall. It's also been the senior center. So I
mean,
personally think it would be a good idea to have it at the community house, because if there is you think back to that October storm, it was crazy to be trying to be in the firehouse when the fire department was trying to deal with that situation.
right.
So,
I agree. I mean, I think we, as a board, have to at some point make that decision this year, and ratify that. And if that's what we decide that it's the community house, we need to make that happen. But you do need a generator, you do need showers. So, you remember that October storm, we had a portable trailer come in for showers for people.
Yep.
Um,
And it was used. People were there to use it,
it
Yep.
was used. I mean,
not
yeah.
just firemen, but
Oh God, the public.
Oh,
more,
no,
more the
people-
public than firemen, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, people were just like parked in the firehouse using for their phones and
Right.
And the school, is that an option? Ken Center?
I don't know. Do
Yeah.
they even have a generator? I don't think they do. Because I know
No.
when we had a power outage, they lost a lot of food in their freezer. Oh, Rick's back on.
I don't think they ever installed the generator. If they did, it was only a small one for the refrigerators or something like that. So
Do you know how big the one at the town hall is? We never asked you that.
100 kW.
Okay.
And you'd want at least that at the community house too, because the main thing is the air conditioning.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's got propane heat over there. That doesn't draw that much power, but if you need it during the summer, the air draws quite a bit there.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember the reason. I know that we don't own much beyond the footprint of the building, right?
Right.
Isn't it the church owns all around the
Yes.
building?
Yep.
That's what I remember was the problem why we couldn't actually have a generator. Oh,
So what has changed?
nothing. The church still, it would mean negotiation with the church, the Congregational Church. Because the generator has to be outside, right, Rick?
Yes. Well, it should be outside. I mean, you can exhaust it to the outside and have air intake coming in, but it's going to be a little noisy.
Mhm.
You have to soundproof the room it was in. We used to have a long time ago, the one at the town garage used to be inside. And that running all the time put out enough heat that we didn't really need the heat in there. So, but that also only did the lights and the furnace, nothing else. And in the past, we've talked about the different shelters. The town hall is going to be for sleeping. The senior center was for the kitchen, for meals and stuff. There wasn't room to really be serving meals there, plus have people sleeping in there at the senior center.
Senior center is not that big. I mean,
And we don't have a kitchen to speak of at the town hall. It's
right.
more like the stove that's there is like a hot plate. So
The school has a whole kitchen. They got cafeteria, they
But they
got
don't have
But
a generator.
they don't have
though.
a big enough generator, I don't think. I don't remember.
well, neither does the community house right now.
Well, it doesn't have
Well,
any in there.
We
I mean,
haven't been
Right.
using the community house. We haven't used it as that because of that
But my
reason.
point is, why couldn't we put a generator at the school if we're gonna, the original point is deciding where the best emergency shelter is.
you either
And if
deal with
we're,
the church or you deal with the Board of Education in Region 1. So choose your battle.
All right. Can we get back on track here and
Sure.
let's I think we should try and make some motions to move this along.
Okay.
You want to make a motion on the emergency management stuff? I'll make a motion that we remove the communications system, the vehicle, and the UTV and trailer from the capital plan.
second that,
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Okay. I'll also make a motion that we reduce the community house generator showers to $80,000.
Second.
Discussion on that?
Are you taking the 40 out altogether, or do you want to move it over? So we can decide on that next year.
No, I'm taking it out altogether and I'm gonna work with putting it into town hall buildings.
Okay.
Um, I'm sorry. The generator will stay in there and work with the renovations of the lower level, hopefully to install those showers because I think bathrooms were in there, wasn't it? Joyce?
I think it was fixing up bathrooms,
Fixing up. Okay.
but there's no showers in there right now. There were years ago. Susie Williams used to talk about how there were showers in there, I think.
The other problem is that it's hard for ADA. And you'd have to take them outside and back up around to the front door to go down from downstairs to upstairs if it was the shelter.
Okay.
But that would meet ADA though, because as long as you can give access to both floors. I don't think we want to put we don't want to put an elevator in there. That'd be insanely expensive. And especially think about how many times the shelter is needed, if once a year,
Right.
if, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with that motion unless you guys want to change it.
It's fine. I think I
Stick with that for
seconded
now.
it.
Yep.
So we're putting it at 80?
Yeah.
Leaving the 40 out. Okay.
All those in
We
favor?
did we
Thank you. All
vote?
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. What's next? Anything else?
Park and Rec, there's not much.
Do we want to go with do we want to endorse the shower, bathroom, septic?
I am in favor of putting a bathroom in there, although we have the porta potty, which has worked well for many years, many summers. If they ever get to, there was talk about skating on the swimming pond sometime in the future, so you may want a bathroom for that because you're probably not going to have the porta potty out then. For the showers, it's not like it's salt water.
Lynn, do you remember that? I seem to remember that we had like a form of composting toilets there like 10 or 15 years ago. Am I misremembering?
I don't remember that, but it would have there may have been talk about that. I don't remember that there were. I only remember just regular porta potties, but there could have been.
So I remember when Trisha went to camp there that there was I thought that there was like composting toilets, but
They were just portables though?
no, they were permanent.
Oh, well, where are they?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. It's a lot of money, $200,000. And I understand they want to bring back the swimming area, but
And they're also talking about doing a pavilion, but they had that money in there for last year. I would not be opposed of bringing that number down.
So you want to cut it in half and put 100 over on the other line, over the line?
yeah. I just wonder, I mean, they're talking about concept and pricing are based on quotes from Green Flush at $165,000. So if we do that, then they probably can't actually do it until the second year. if the price holds like that for 5 years. Which is okay. I mean, we've done that before many, many times of spreading out the cost.
There's
Matt, can I ask
also,
you a question? Sorry,
Say it again.
I got a question for Matt. You there?
Go ahead.
Explain to me what that you called it, I think, a barn. What is it?
The pole
Looking
barn
at
that's
trying
there.
to re zone it, or I guess zoning's the wrong word, but
We're experimenting with building use to see what we could recode it as. Because right now it's coded as a storage shed and it's not for public assembly, but we're exploring the option of either converting that to a pavilion or creating it as a site for public assembly. So we could host classes and have a temporary office space there.
and public assembly means it would be heated, air conditioned, usable,
That's correct.
maybe as a emergency shelter if we combine some stuff. How big is that?
Absolutely.
How big is that building?
It's
not that
24
big.
foot by 30. It's 24 by 30, and the main room is 20 by 24.
20 by 24.
I
Okay.
don't think you can fit 50 people in there. And I thought the definition for assembly was 50 people. It is with the fire code. I don't know about the building code.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
So what do we want to do? Do you want to stick with 200 or split it in half over 2 years? That's what it comes down to.
I'd like to split it a minimum. They do have some residents who are interested in helping. I don't know any details about that. That's, we've had that in the past.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we take remove $100,000 from Emery Park shower, bathroom, septic, and move it across the line to 2032.
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we're at 1.1 million.
What are we at the total? $2.8.
To be about right if he said 1.1.
Yeah.
2.756. Yep. So we good with that for tonight? We'll try and get the Board of Ed on to see what their 786 is all about. You want to do that?
We're
Yeah.
good with the tennis courts, which are actually pickleball courts.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I mean, I hear how popular it is, and I mean, I think, yeah.
Okay.
Rick's has his hand up.
And I'm just looking at Rick's number. He's at 860 compared to 1.1 million last year. So I don't think we can really pick on him this year.
Well, I was gonna say, if you do want to pick on me, let's go down to the transfer station, the 500, not the equipment, or if you want to split that or leave 100 in there, move out 4 or something like that, so we can start with engineering and get better numbers. But
So leave 100 in the
Well,
fifth year. or
I
half.
mean, I'd want to do some engineering beforehand, at least to find out for the sewer and the water hookups. The building is, that's easy enough to get a number for, but I haven't done too much sewer and water hookups in the last few years, so I don't know what they're going for now, but. And there's probably a better chance of me finding a grant for the transfer station than for equipment.
Yeah. Especially since Deep likes us right now.
Well, if they would give me my permits, yeah, that would be great.
So if we split the transfer station 250 and put 250 out over, we're at 918,104.
So we're almost removing $1 million already just tonight. Is that what you just said?
Yep.
918.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's good work.
I
And we
think so
might
too.
even have more because when we get an explanation from Board of Ed.
Yeah.
You want to just put that in a motion to the transfer station? So
Yeah, I'll move that we reduce transfer station line to 250,000 and move 250,000 into 2032.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you all. All right, let me just see what I got here. Public comment.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Hi, Don. Sure, go right ahead.
On Facebook tonight, they on the Kent community page, they had put in that the Park and Rec Department was applying for a Connecticut Deep Trails grant. And part of that grant was for brand new accessible restrooms and changing areas. Couldn't part of that money be used or taken out? And I know you already moved, to take the restroom stuff out, but wouldn't that serve the purpose of giving them new restrooms? But it would come in under the grant if the grant was received. Matt, I guess that's a question for you.
Yeah, absolutely. If the grant is received, then yes, and that can be a later conversation, but there's no guarantee with the grants. And then also with this grant, what CT Deep is doing is they're taking in all the information, working with the Greenway Council. Greenway Council will make the recommendation to Deep to accept grants. There's no funding limit at the moment, so it's not like up to $2 million will be dispersed. The money is going to go out to the state legislature, and they're going to say, this is the amount we're awarding. We need funding for it. So there's no guarantee on any front for this grant. So
Right.
we are shooting our shot on every point that we can and hopeful that we can get anything. But if it does come down that we get the funding for the bathrooms for the park, then that can be a conversation that can be brought to
At
this.
a later time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Donna. Ed.
My only question is about when George Jacobson started the whole capital plan, he wanted real numbers given, you had to come in with a plan, you had to come with a real cost estimate, and then break it up over the 5 years so you knew what you were really starting with, and then adjusted each year if needed, if prices went up, prices went down, for one. And also the community house, when I was a selectman at the time with Bruce, we did look into the community house for the generator, and we got turned down for any grants because of the situation with the property. And also it's within the 500-year flood zone. And the generator was supposed to be down in the parking lot down below because none of the people wanted it up top, along with the church said no generator would be able to be seen from the church at the time. And also, that's why we got turned down originally for Kent Center Schools grant for a generator, because that is in the 100-year flood zone. So I think we really should be working on real numbers. And the community house doesn't really need to be all sided all at once. It could be done in stages, because I know the north side has been horrible for years because it doesn't get any sunlight. Maybe you could break it up into 4 sections and do 4 sections. And maybe you're talking about flatlining things, which is a good idea. We'll come up with a price, and maybe it'd be cheaper to bond the money that you need for these projects and then break it down and flatline it out over the next 5, maybe even 10 years, like we did Kent Center School. We did the addition. And also, my other thing is, the addition at Kent Center School is now 20 years old. Have those roofs been in consideration? Because they'll be 25 years old in 5 years if they start looking into capital plans for those membrane roofs, like on the library and the other ones. And that's all. That's all my comments. Thank you.
Well, that's very possible why they put that in the capital plan in 5 years. So we'll get with them and hopefully get that answered. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the history on the generators.
Well, we even looked into putting an elevator at the community house as you first come into the door where the coat rack is to go up and down. The trouble is that building's all concrete, and it's very hard to do any addition, especially with the bathrooms downstairs, because it's all concrete.
Okay.
Okay, any other public comment? Lynn and Lynn, can we try and schedule something for next week, or what do you want to do if I can get a hold of the school?
Let's say get in touch with Heather and see what works for her, and then give us a couple dates, give her a couple dates.
Okay.
Do you think we could do a really quick meeting, like maybe over
Love to.
lunch or something like that? I get
I'd love to do an afternoon meeting. Yeah.
yeah, like at noon,
Okay.
something like that.
Does that work for you, Lynn Harrington?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so I will get with Heather and Bill and whoever else, and we will work to schedule a meeting next week and hammer this some more.
Monday, Tuesday, or Friday are the better days for me.
It's all work for me.
At noon. I couldn't really do I couldn't do Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay. All right, thank you all. You
Okay.
somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn at 8:07.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.